This is the conflict and plagiarism or coincidence between 2020 publication and 2017 publication. The issue in figures 3, in graphic logs in figures 3 in both papers. This is the first paper, was issued in 2020. And if we go to figure 3 in this paper, we'll find a graphic log from the Lathroon Formation. And this graphic log is synthesized from the graphic logs F and G of the paper 2017. Most of it is synthesized. Now the 2017 paper, Turbidite Facies, was published in 2017 as a transaction from GCAGS, Gulf Coast Association of Geological Society. And if we go to figure 3, we'll find a cross-section with the graphic logs, and those the two logs F and G, logs of interest, and that had been traced and used to synthesize the graphic log of 2020. This is G, and notes it starts from 0, bit 0 to bit 6, and graphic log F starts from bit 1 to bit 9. Notice the 0 here. You'll see it in the other section, starts from 0. The 2020, they start from 0 as well. And I don't know if this is a coincidence or just... So this is the 2020 in the middle, the yellow one. Okay. And on the right side, you see 2017 graphic logs, graphic log F, this one, from 1 to 9, and a graphic log G from 0, notice the 0 to 6, bit 0 to bit 6. So the top section of a graphic log G is copied and pasted. This is to the 2020, the yellow one. And the same thing, 0, 1, 2, 3, bits 0, 1, 2, 3, copied and pasted to, and changed the scale, changed it by the way, to the 2020. So this is the bottom of graphic log G on the left side, and the 2020, the yellow one. And then if we go to graphic log F, you'll find bits 7, 8, 9, copied and pasted to the 2020. This I cut the F here to show, zoom in on the taken parts. And notes always G starts from 0, bit number 0. Okay, now this is the graphic log 2020. They put it on an outcrop, which has nothing to do with it. It has 2 channels, and the channel is supposed to go 2 levels of channel, smiley face here, and the channel is supposed to be represented by fining upward rather than coarsening upward cycles. So the investigation now, we're going to, first step, check the texture, grain size scale, which is mudstone, waxstone, backstone, grainstone at the bottom here or here. And then check the texture pattern match. So now, the first thing, we're going to check the scale, the texture scale. So we're zooming into the texture scale for section F, and already traced it and put with red color. So if there is a perfect match distance between M mud, which is mud, wax, pack, grain, the distances, if they match with the distances, so take copy of it and then try to match it with scale They stretched the scale, but the relative distances and ratios, the ratio between them will be the same if it's traced from our section. So let's try to match it. Just stretch it and see if they match the lines. That means it is taken from our graphic logs F and G. So stretch, put yep, and then the middle of the line, and then bring it all the way, and voila, perfect match. So this is not a coincidence. Okay, this is not the coincidence. The ratios or the distance between the texture parts, mud walk pack, perfectly match. So the ratios still preserve it. When we stretch it, our scale matched the other scale because they stretched the scale after they got it. Now let's look at, investigate the bits. Layer fits. The layers, let's do the same technique to see the, start with layer 6, graphic log G 2017. Here, layer 6, I already traced it, and I'll take copy of the trace. This is using Corel Draw. It's really good, powerful software. And I put 2 lines. Yeah, do you see these 2 green lines here? Yeah, those touching the texture curve. This is the texture curve. If these 2 lines touch the curve in the 2020, that means it's a perfect match. If they didn't touch, that means it's different. Yeah, copy it, the texture curve, and then bring it to the 2020 to see if they match. But first we have to put to match the bottom, the basal part of the bit, and the top part of the bit, and then match, yeah, put it here at the baseline on the left, and then enlarge it and see if they match. Yep. Stretch it as they did, and then bring the bottom of the bit to the bottom in the center, at the center, and then here at the center, and then drag it, stretch it. It's perfectly matching. So this bit is copied and pasted, traced and pasted, then stretch it, and then they changed the symbols. That's all what they did. All what they did. It's a plagiarism. Now let's do it the same thing with bit 5G, graphic log G. And we have in the middle the top, bottom, and we have in the middle a line touching the curve, the texture curve. If this line touched the texture curve in the 2020, that means it's the same. It still keeps the same ratio, the same distance. If it's different curve, it shouldn't touch. So let's go and match, see the difference. Top should match with the top, bottom, and then the side. Okay, yep, along the baseline here, and then the bottom of the bed with the bottom of the bed. And now the testing. If the line, yes, the middle line touches the middle of the curve, the texture curve, so it's another perfect match. Now let's do the same process with bit 1 in graphic log G 2017, and let's see. This bed really distorted. They distorted. This is here. I made a trace of the bed, okay, top and bottom, and two markers in the middle touching the curve. Yeah, the texture curve, texture variation curve. It's different vertically, coarsening upward. So if this curve, if these two lines touched the same curve, touched the curve in 2020, that means the curve was copied and pasted. All what they did, they just changed the scale. Copy, drag it down until we get to bed 1. Notice G starts with bed 0, and they did in 2020 bed 0 the first. That's another weird coincidence. So this is the bed that they extended the scale and distorted the bed, deformed it. So what I'm doing, matching, yep, the baseline, and then match the top with the top, enlarge it, and then match top with the top, and bottom of the bed with the bottom. And we have two control lines. If they touch the curve, that means that's perfect match. So the bottom of the bed matches the bottom, top of the bed, because they distorted the scale, so we're doing the same thing. And then see if these two lines touch the curve, the texture curve in the middle, that means it's a perfect match. So this is another perfect match. Okay, this is a plagiarism, not a coincidence. I'm helping people to investigate. Now let's do the same process with layer 8 section of graphic log G 2017. It's here. This is layer 8. I did the same thing, bottom top, and put two control lines touching the curve. So I'm preserving the ratios. Yeah, if these two lines touch the curve after we match the bottom, top, and the side, that means it's the same bed. This is plagiarism. Okay, match the baseline, yep. Match the bottom with the bottom, top with the top. Yep, enlarge it. Now, and then stretch it, the scale, all the way. If the two lines in the middle touch the curve in the middle, yep, the texture curve in the middle, that means they are the same, and that's what happened. So it's perfect match. This is a plagiarism, not a coincidence, as the journal assumes. Okay, so these 4 beds proven that there's a plagiarism, there's a perfect match. There's the curve distorted or the scale distorted and then filled with different symbol. Notice the 0. The graphic log G started with 0. This is 2017. And you will notice they started with 0 in the 2020. I'll show their graphic log here with the outcrop. Okay? And notice the 0 here. They start from 0. This is another coincidence. Also, this graphic log does not represent the outcrop. If you go to the outcrop, you'll notice there are 2 smiley faces, channels. Yeah, this is smiley, and this is another smiley at the top, 2 levels, and the channels should go with fining upward cycles, not coarsening upward. And how come if they are so detailed they missed this? They put channels coarsening upward. So they applied the graphic log in a different sections. So here we have testimonies for 3 scholars. They have 21 plus experience in stratigraphy. and the first one from Industry, Oil Industry and Journal editor, and he said the JPEG file perfect match shared by Dr. Amroni shows resemblance of several sections, which may suggest that the stratigraphic section presented is mostly modified after Amroni's previously published it. So modified from the Amroni's work, which is 2017. The second one is a professor say the figure is similar except one is colored and the other one not. The third one is a professor said clearly there's similarity between the two published graphic logs. The journal has a middle ground. The first thing they say occasional coincidence of the materials of the different authors, and they said as for the citation to the previous paper, nobody can be aware of really all papers on each given subject, and there's maybe like 7 people working on that thing, 2 paleontologists, 3 stratigraphers, 1 Italian, and 1 for the mapping. So they said no sign of plagiarism is evident, so it's not clear for them. So they didn't do the right analysis. It seems they didn't follow the right procedures to figure out this plagiarism. And thank you very much, and this is the clear evidence that there's plagiarism.